A significant light, just where it was needed, gleaming black as night, cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday. It is Memorial Weekend. I hope you guys have some awesome plans for your 3 days off. And to the people who work weekends and holidays, I salute you. So, we have some exciting tech. We have the first half of 2019 has been absolutely insane. We've had the Samsung S10 series launched. They have the S10e, the S10, and the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Plus they launched the Samsung S10 5G that just launched. Not only does that phone have 5G, but you have an extra time of flight sensor on the back of it, a larger battery, a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display, and 3 cameras on the front. That is ridiculous, but we're not here to talk about that. Next we had the Google Pixel 3a's launch, the Pixel 3a and Pixel 3a XL. A stellar camera. It's the same camera that's in the Pixel 3s, in the Pixel 3a, but you're sacrificing a chip and you have a plastic build instead of glass, but you still get a 1080p OLED display. And then now we have come to the OnePlus 7 Pro. I am so excited about this phone. I've had it for about a week and I do not have my iPhone XS Max anymore. So here is why. So before we begin, companies have done a little bit of a 180 this year. The smartphone market is at a plateau right now, and we have not seen people upgrades as frequent as they used to. People used to line up every year for the iPhone, and even sometimes for the hardcore Samsung fans. People used to line up for the Samsung devices. Not many, but a lot of people would. And we're not seeing that anymore. Ever since the iPhone X came out, which people were awaiting an iPhone with the OLED panel and a nearly bezel-less display and Face ID, a lot of people have stayed with their iPhone Xs and not upgraded to the iPhone XS Max, or just the iPhone XS. So companies did a 180. So they had the iPhone XR come out. Apple had that come out at $749, which is still a little steep in my opinion, but they sacrificed things like a telephoto lens and went from OLED to LCD to bring down the cost a little bit. And they were like, okay, this is going to be our moneymaker because people aren't upgrading as often as they used to. Samsung did the same thing with their Samsung S10e. One less camera and a lower resolution display. Before I get into OnePlus, Google did the same. And they have the Pixel 3a's starting at $399. So it seemed like budget was this year's motto, and OnePlus went the complete opposite. Now with OnePlus, previous years, the 6T, the 6, the 5, the 4, the 3, etc., they are a mid-range pricing company, but they have flagship specs, and you're losing things like a 1440p panel and a killer camera, but you have the latest chipset, enough RAM, and their thing is dash charging, fast wired charging. But this year they're creeping up into the flagship game, and the OnePlus 7 Pro came out and everyone was completely shocked. We had rumors about this for months, but people didn't really realize how good it was really going to be. And I thought I was going to play with it for a little bit and end up giving up and going back to my iPhone XS Max, but instead my iPhone XS Max is gone. This thing is extremely powerful. So let's get right into it. This is why I pretty much left my iPhone XS Max and I'm using the OnePlus 7 Pro now. display is absolutely killer. It's a little bright right now. Let me see if I can tone it down a little bit. This display is just so killer. You have a 1440p display finally on a OnePlus phone, and this display is at 90 hertz. iPhones and probably about 90% of Android devices have 60 hertz displays. The Samsung S10s, the iPhones, they all have 60 hertz. In gaming phones, it's a little bit different. Usually you have LCD panels and you can get up to 120 hertz like with the Razer phones, but we have not seen a 1440p Super AMOLED display with a 90 hertz display. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous display, and the 90 hertz just makes everything just so fluid. You don't get the dropped frames. For example, when you're scrolling through pictures, they flow nicely together. You're not seeing it catch up and then scroll a little bit and then catch up. You're not seeing that with this. The specs are out of this world. So let's start off with the specs. We have a Snapdragon 855 processor, the latest and greatest from Qualcomm. We have 12 gigabytes of RAM in the top model. Now, you can get a 6 gigabyte RAM version with 128 gigabytes of storage. That's going to cost you $669. But for $30 more at $699, you get 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, which I think that's the sweet spot, and I think that's the one that everyone should get, is the 8 gigabytes of RAM with 256 gigabytes of storage for $699. Even the heaviest users don't use all the RAM that's in their phone. If you're a really heavy user, you game a lot, you do a ton of multitasking, you have these programs that are really heavy on your processor, you're going to use about 5 to 6 gigabytes of RAM tops. So the 8 gigabytes of RAM is perfect. The 12 gigabytes of RAM, you're only really getting this, A, because it's only $50 more at $749, and or B, this is going to be future proof for a little bit. So when Android Q comes out and you have more programs that are coming out that are more intensive, you are going to be future proof for a couple years. So with 12 gigabytes of RAM, Snapdragon 855 and 256 gigabyte of storage, you're going to be good for a couple years. We have glass on the front and back, obviously. You do have a in-display fingerprint scanner, as you can see right in the front there. It is extremely fast. I can't tell you how fast it is. People have perfected this thing now. The first gen was kind of whack. The 60 had it. It was okay. The Samsung S10s, it's okay. Samsung had a software update that made it quicker, but there's too many animations, and really throughout OnePlus's Oxygen OS, which is running on here, you're getting a real stock experience with really low animations. There aren't really animations throughout this OS. It just gets there, and it seems a lot faster. I mean, it's really fast without a lot of animations. It's just snappy. It just feels better. I think there's too many animations, especially with iPhones and Samsung. I think that there's too many animations, but I want to show you guys how fast this is. So we're at my lock screen right now, and I'm just going to tap this here real quick. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, go. I mean, this thing is stupid fast. Now, this is optical. This isn't like an ultrasonic, as you can see the green light there. This thing gets it every single time. With the Samsungs, I felt like I had to keep on pressing on it to get the right angle. This isn't the case. It gets it every single time. You have the famous alert slider on the side here. You can go from silent to vibrate to ring. It's super convenient. You just get this little notification on the side here. It's pretty easy. I love that, and it's texturized, which is awesome. You have your power button on the right side. You have a volume rocker on the left side. You do get stereo speakers. You get a bottom firing speaker, and then you get this little slit at the top that you can see the speaker on the top there. Now, this is an all-screen display is what they're labeling it, because the front-facing camera has moved. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy right there. This camera, front-facing camera, is some great innovation to get all screen on this phone. It's a 16 megapixel front-facing camera. Now, what this motorized front-facing camera does is that I know a lot of people don't like moving parts, but it allows you to get a bigger sensor in there for better low light photography, and the sensor is a lot wider. Since it's bigger, you get a lot more people in the shot. It's a lot wider. So that is definitely a plus. Now, OnePlus shared a Twitter post that they showed a picture of a 40 or 45 pound weight hanging from the top of this camera, and it still didn't break. That's showing you how durable it is. And they claim that even after 155 uses a day for 5.5 years, you're still not going to be able to break this camera, and it's still going to work. They tested this over 300,000 times, obviously, with their machines in their factory. They've tested this over and over because a lot of people are curious about moving parts, and people don't like it because they break, they malfunction, software isn't right, etc. So they've tested this out, and I don't see a problem with it. I really don't use a lot of my selfie camera anyway, so I'm not even launching this 150 times a day. I might launch it maybe 4-5 times. When you open up Snapchat, it does get a little, I wouldn't say buggy, but every time you open up Snapchat, it does open up the camera automatically, so that gets kind of annoying. But other than that, it's been a great experience. You have USB. The USB Type-C port is still on the bottom. Rough day. So you have the USB Type-C port on the bottom. Now this is supporting their warp charging. You get a 30-watt charger in the box. This is the only phone that supports 30-watt wired charging. You can get 50% in 20 minutes, which is awesome. Now this doesn't have wireless charging, which really kind of sucks, and I wish that it did have wireless charging. I mean, there's glass on the back, and wireless charging has been around since the Samsung S6. I mean, talk about 4 or 5 years ago that wireless charging has been around. And the coils on Amazon, I mean, you can make your own wireless charger nowadays. The coils are on Amazon for like $5, $6. I mean, they could have put this in there for like $1, but apparently after this got released, the CEO stated that they're working on a wireless charger, but they've been having a lot of heating issues. So with these big batteries and fast charging, you do get heating issues, hence why Apple isn't even coming out with AirPower. They're having a lot of heating issues. So I can understand that portion, but thanks for bringing out the warp charging. It works great. I don't even charge my phone overnight. I usually wake up, and then as I'm getting ready for work or my day, I plug it into the charger, and before I leave, I'm topped off. I also purchased the warp. They have a warp car charger, which gets you the 30 watts inside the car. Now this is going to be super helpful because let's say you're going out hiking or you're taking a lot of pictures and video. 4K video just drains your battery completely. You can top yourself off from point A to point B, driving home or driving to your girlfriend's house or whatever. You can top yourself off, and that is a really cool feature. I got it. It's a little pricey. It's about $50, but it's definitely worth it. Now we're gonna get to the cameras on the back, and so far everything has been great. You have the fastest charging ever in a smartphone. You have this beautiful glass on glass build. You have this beautiful 1440p panel that gets super bright. You have a 90 hertz display. It's all screen. You have this awesome pop-up motorized camera. And here we get to the rear cameras. They're not that great. Now, the main sensor at the top here, main sensor is a 48 megapixel Sony sensor. Now this lens is amazing. This lens is going to get you some great crisp shots, and there's some great depth of field. It's really powerful, and it's going to take some beautiful shots. The telephoto lens, on the other hand, is not so great. We have a 8 megapixel telephoto lens that is 3 times zoom, which someone on Reddit actually tested out that is actually not 3 times zoom as they advertise. It's actually 2.2 times zoom, and what they do is that they took a 13 megapixel Samsung sensor and they cropped the image, and they're making it 3 times zoom when it's really 2 times zoom. It's just cropped. So you're getting a closer image, but is not optical. You're not getting that 3 times zoom. They're just cropping the image that you already have, cropping it down to an 8 megapixel image, which I think is really a false advertising, because the Huawei P30 Pro came out with a 5 times optical zoom, and that thing was amazing. And hearing that this thing had 3 times optical zoom, I was completely shocked. I was all over it. But again, false advertising, and it's really sad to have a company come out with a device like this that is so awesome, and you have to lie like that. Just have a 2 times zoom. Everyone's got 2 times zoom, and just don't crop anything. And not only that, but when you crop it to an 8 megapixel image, the resolution, it is not that great. You're gonna have to go in some great lighting to get some good shots with a telephoto lens. So that kills it for me for the telephoto lens. I'm not even gonna use it. And then you have the 16 megapixel ultra wide. Now there is going to be a software update later on this week to optimize the camera a little bit, because there's a lot of distortion on the ultra wide angle and it doesn't look that good, and you don't have a wider angle of view. The Samsung S10s, I believe, have a 127 degree angle of view. And then this one has, I believe, 120 or 121. So you're not getting as wide of an image, and not only that, the quality isn't all that great. So I am sticking to the main sensor, the 48 megapixel sensor. It is a great sensor. Don't get me wrong, stills are going to be absolutely amazing. Video is going to be okay, but you can't go wrong with the main sensor. So if you just do stills and some video, you're going to be just fine. They'll have some camera updates later on. And then also with the ultra wide angle lens, you cannot shoot video. I don't know why, but it is what it is. So this is pretty much where it comes to an end. I am absolutely in love with this device. The 4,000 milliamp battery is it's pretty good. It gets me through the day. And I'm a pretty heavy user. I'm on social media a lot, YouTube, stuff like that. Let's see, I got this off the charger at 5:30 a.m. this morning, and I am at 45% right now. Now, you can change in the settings, you can clock it down from 90 hertz to 60 hertz and Quad HD plus to FHD, but you're taking away the main reason you're buying the phone to begin with. So I don't do that to save battery. I just leave it on 90 hertz all the time, full brightness all the time. And as Flossie Carter would say, I have it on full brightness like a scumbag. And that's pretty much it, guys. This phone is so powerful and so fluid. I can't even tell you. Yes, I miss iMessage. iCloud. I'm gonna show you guys a quick tip right now. If you guys are looking to get out of paying iCloud storage, what I do is I download on my Android device, that is, I download Google Rewards. It's this app. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's this app in the center. And this will show you your balance. Now, what this does is you download this app and it's just going to ask you survey questions. Like, when's the last time you went to Starbucks? When's the last time you went to Coffee Bean? And it gives you some options. You just answer a question or two and it gives you money towards your Google Play account. Well, I transferred all of my stuff from iCloud to Google Photos, and when you pay for storage, your Google account, it allows you to use your Google account as payment, and then you can set up a backup payment to your debit card or whatever. So for 100 gigabytes of storage, I am using it is $199 a month, but I'm using my Google Play account, which I'm doing Google Rewards. Like, it sends me a survey like every other day, so that $199 is gonna be taken from that every month. I'll never have to pay. So that is one way that I got out of iCloud. So iCloud isn't really a worry of mine, but iMessage, I am missing iMessage. But this phone is so fast. The camera's great. I love the in-display fingerprint scanner. This display is absolutely beautiful, all screen, and the 90 hertz, the fluidity and the power. Going through social media, flip-flopping between YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and not having the app refresh, that's huge. My iPhone XS Max, when I was flip-flopping, it would always restart the app like I never logged into it to begin with, and I couldn't stand that. So this doesn't do that because it has enough RAM. The RAM management is absolutely amazing. You're talking about a phone that has 3 times the RAM of an iPhone. 3 times the RAM as a Pixel, and you guys know how underpowered the Pixel was. So this is to me, it's almost the iPhone killer. If only RCS was on this would really be the iPhone killer. But for now, I'm really happy with this device, and the 90 hertz display is all worth it. Giving up my iPhone. I'm the green bubble in the group, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's why I gave up my iPhone XS Max. This thing is a powerhouse. I'm enjoying it so far, and it's only $749 for the 12 gigabyte RAM version, $699 for the 8 gigabyte RAM version that I suggest that all of you get. So that is all the time that I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I want you guys to drop a like and a comment, and I will see you guys later. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Salute to our soldiers and military, and I will see you guys later.